So my father, Harold Gorrell, he was a band director, and he actually went to Central State. Back in those days, it was Central State College. It's the University of Central Oklahoma now. And he graduated in 1962 with a music education degree, and went out to be a band director. And as the case was back in those days, he started in more rural areas like O'Keene, and then eventually made his way back into the metro area. So when I was born in 1970, my dad was the band director at Yukon High School. And he did that until 1973, and long story I won't go into, but decided that he was going to open a rental store to be an entrepreneur, and from there ended up being a home builder. But music is certainly in his veins, and so from the youngest ages I can remember him playing the piano, having a trombone, a saxophone, a clarinet, a flute, instruments around the house. So I feel really fortunate that environment was there from a young age. So I was just always interested in playing. Piano was my first instrument. So
sat at the piano as a really young kid, just kind of probably on Dad's lap.
Well, yeah, and when I was 7 or 8, he was showing me some things at the piano, and I think I was always stubborn. And so, he had this huge stack of music, and there was a piece that really appealed to me by Scott Joplin called The Entertainer, which is sort of pre-jazz, ragtime, and I really had no business trying to play something like that as young as I was. And my dad, being, educated in a traditional way, said, yeah, you need to wait on that. Well, that was sort of all it took for me to, I'm going to figure it out anyway. And so I think I spent maybe the better part of a year and a half or so tinkering around with it till I could play it, probably with bad fingerings and lots of other bad technique. But I think that was the first piece of music that made me interested in what eventually became sort of a lifelong love with jazz music in particular. But it started with him saying, no, I shouldn't play that yet. And, typical rebellious kid.